Sorry, the AFC North, where your Baltimore Ravens were the AFC North champs a season ago. They had 12 wins. They're over under this year, 11.5 wins. That one's juiced a little to the over, minus 118 if you want to bet that over. And well, you see there on the screen there, we are all loving the over for this Ravens team.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I didn't go 14 like you guys is because the Ravens always have a weird game. Last year, it was losing to the Raiders. I think the year
But they had
before,
two ones. They had the Browns too. They had the Browns loss.
yeah, they had the
loss.
Browns game, the Jameis loss, and then the year before they had the Colts loss where Gardner Minshew carved them up. And it's they always have those weird games. So I'm kind of just hedging for whichever game that's going to be. But I mean, if you want to talk about one of the most talented teams in football, the Ravens are right up there with Philadelphia. They are incredibly well coached. I think another year of Zach Orr as defensive coordinator is going to really do that defense wonders. They don't really have a lot of holes. It is just like they could be in contention for being one of the best teams in football this year if they get those weird losses out of their system.
Yeah, double-digit wins. You look around the league and you start predicting some of these teams. Double-digit wins, I'd say that they've got a unit that if they play well, they can carry their football team. When I look at the Ravens, the floor on both sides of the ball is a teen win count, and I'm going to give them +1. You went -1 because obviously they've dropped some real layups historically, but I just feel like this is a team, this is a quarterback, this is a unit defensively that got better, but more importantly, the offensive side of the ball, they are going to be laser focused this year. I've been talking about this Ravens group since the beginning of the offseason. I truly think that there's no reason why they shouldn't run the table in the AFC and be the representative against whoever it may be, probably that team with wings in the city of brotherly love. But I love the Ravens. 14 is where I'm at.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't want to talk too much more about them because we've, as to use your workout, we've been glazing them just like so hard this offseason, but it's hard not to. It's hard to look at this roster and not just get flat out giddy. And like even some of the weak links, I think are going to be very interesting to watch. Guys like Trenton Simpson. I think this is kind of the time when everyone thought him coming out of Clemson that he could have his, Patrick Queen-esque ascendance, because that's the level of athlete he is. Like there's just so much to look forward to with this roster that, yeah, I went 14, Kyle went 14, JP 13, kind of a hater there. No big deal. He's not on the glaze train that we are. Let's get to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 10 wins a season ago. Over-unders 8.5. It is obviously juiced to that over. Minus 120 if you want to go over 8.5. And I'm going to be the hater here. I went with 7. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why this Mike Tomlin is going to continue to go at 500 or above, JP.
Yeah, I went with 9 here because Mike Tomlin was going to get him to 9 games. For some reason, it's a lot like the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra, where I don't care what they have on that roster. They're going to go 500. They're going to go at least a few games above 500. But this team is, in all the physical, mental, and emotional ways, this is a 9-8 team. Like there are a lot of questions, especially about the offense and about Aaron Rodgers, if he can still do it at 41 years old, and a defense that now might not have Cam Hayward, which is going to be really big, but they still have the talent to make things weird. They have the talent to really like annoy people in the AFC. So I think that'll get them to 9 games.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They've got talent in the right spots to drive people crazy week in, week out. You're going to have to press a different button to handle this team week in, week out in response to what they do. And you're looking at the guy right there, TJ Watt. I would just say 8 wins single-handedly if TJ Watt is healthy. I don't care who's playing quarterback, because to your point, Mike Tomlin's going to have this team ready to play. They're going to be punching up. They're breathing new air, fresh air with Aaron Rodgers, who for the first time in many moons is going to be healthy, albeit 40+ years old. It's still Aaron Rodgers, okay? There's only a handful of people ever maybe who have thrown the football better than he can. And as long as that thing's still working, this team's got a shot. I like their running back room. I think they've got some youth that's developing in the offensive line, but it's that defensive front, those edge rushers that at a drop of a hat, they can get the football back for your offense. They're not just going for sacks. Guys like TJ Watt are looking to take that football away.
Yeah, maybe I am being a little pessimistic here, especially given their D-line should even be better this year. Like Yeah, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, they are on the older side. They're obviously not like getting better. You're probably not going to exceed what they did last year. You now have Derek Harmon. Alex Highsmith maybe banged up, but you got Nick Herbig. Like, you have options, you have depth. Defense, I'm not super worried about. I just think this offense is not ready for 20. Like, I just don't think to play in the same sandbox that the Bengals and Ravens are playing truly in that division. So because of that, obviously you got the Browns there. Everyone's probably going to beat up on, but I just don't see too many easy wins on the schedule. 3-1. You saw it last year. He has never been able to avoid hits. He is not Tom Brady. He's going to take hits. And when hits came and dings came, he was fast. Like, it really robbed him. It robs everyone at that age when you take injury. So that's my biggest worry. It's just that, yeah, if he's fully healthy, I think Rodgers can be good. How long is he going to stay fully healthy? Next up, Cincinnati Bengals. 2024, they won 9 games. 9.5 is their over-under. One of the highest ones juiced to the over in the NFL. -140 is that if you want to go over. JP, you're going under, though.
I am going under. I am going to be the hater here. I have them at 8 because this defense is almost the exact same as last year when they were one of the worst defenses in football. If they don't have Trey Hendrickson, who is their ace when it comes to pass rush, when it comes to generating that pressure that forces Aaron throws, if he's not on the field, I wonder how they're going to get pressure. I think the defensive back room, while talented, still has a long ways to go. And you're also bringing in a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden, who is bringing a different scheme, bringing a different mantra to this team. I think the offense is going to be great again, but the offense was great last year and they won 9 games. This defense might be worse than last year because they don't have Trey Hendrickson.
Possible.
So I'm going to go 8, but just because I need to see that defense in action against real life opponents first.
I think the offense gets even better, but to JP's point, we cannot trust this defense. Okay, I've been burned by this defense before. And in the other part of playing in the National Football League, your kicking game has to be good as well. Go back and look at that Chargers game. There were stops, there were touchdowns offensively, and then there were 3 missed kicks. You got your back against the wall with an opportunity to play your way into the playoffs. You've got, some would argue, the best quarterback in the National Football League, a guy who, if he was on a better team, would have been a shoo-in to win the MVP. So says a lot of people. And, I'll hear him out. But it's the same defense. We're going to be beating our head against the same wall as fans of Joe Burrow this year. He's going to play magnificently. Jamar Chase will have a fantastic season. When T. Higgins was in the lineup, I was like, my God, people would pay him $40 million to be elsewhere. But they can't stop a nosebleed. And that's why I can't in good conscience put these guys in the 11, 12 wins where they should be with a guy like Joe Burrow.
See, I'm going to be devil's advocate here and say I don't think it's the same defense. I think it is going to be much better. And now that's obviously a super low bar to clear, but I think the main difference is Al Golden. I think watching him, what he did at Notre Dame, how they played at a high level, yeah, it's going college to the NFL, but what he does is so much simpler than what Lou Anarumo did. And if you saw this back end, you saw the secondary last year, it was just in shambles from a pure, what the hell am I supposed to do perspective. Like their assignment assuredness was god awful. And for Lou Anarumo defense, like he comes with different game plans every week. He's a kitchen sink sort of DC. It wasn't a talent to scheme match. Like those guys just were not capable of doing what Lou Anarumo asked them to be doing. I think they can, like they have guys who can play man coverage. Dax Hill can play man coverage. CJ Turner can play man coverage. They can do some simpler things and get better results. So I think it's going to be better there. And you don't need to get too much better to win 10 games when you got Joe Burrow, when you got Jamar Chase, when you got T. So that's my argument for why I think they'll win 10 games. And also, like, when you got Amarius Mims now, who has looked better. I thought he looked better in the preseason. He should be better going from year 1 to year 2. Now, how long will he play before, he tweaks a hammy? Who knows? But I think it just at least should be a little bit better this year. Let's get to the Cleveland Browns, who they won 3 games last year. Their over-under is 5.5. And this is the highest juice to the under. So if you want to go over 5.5, you're getting plus 125. It's the highest juice to the under in the entire NFL. No one thinks Some people do, but not a lot of people think they're going over that win total. And well, none of us think it. I'm going with 4. Kyle's going with 4. And JP, you're going with 3 wins for this Cleveland Browns team.
Yeah, I've spoken to many Cleveland Browns fans who are like, we are going to be watching the Jaguars more often than we're watching the Browns this year. But it's going to be a rough year. But I think most Browns fans understand that it's going to be a rough year because the offense just, there's so many parts where you're like, oh, I could maybe see it. Maybe Jerry Jeudy has a fun year. Maybe the offensive line gets healthy, but they haven't been healthy in a long time. Maybe the defense really turns it up a notch again. But all those questions, and the biggest question about who's going to play quarterback week in and week out, it's just tough for me to see anything more than 3 games.
When you're on a team like the Cleveland Browns, and unfortunately I have been on teams like what the Cleveland Browns are experiencing, you're kind of waiting for that cure-all, that tsunami to come through and wipe everything out so that you can get a fresh start. And until then, you kind of look around and you're just like, yeah, I guess we're just in survival mode again, until they can really get a power wash of the entire thing. I feel like this is going to be the conversation for the Cleveland Browns. And it makes me sick every single time that we talk about the Browns, because a company with the Cleveland Browns in sports media, you're going to have a graphic, and the graphic is always Myles Garrett, who is otherworldly talented, who is such a great representative and who you would want to lead your defense. But we're wasting a talent like that because of the situation the Cleveland Browns have put themselves in. And it's just unfortunate. It makes me a little bit sad every time, JP.
Yeah, and they've already had injury.
It's really unfortunate.
They've already had injury bug. They've already obviously been rolling through multiple different quarterbacks. I imagine it's Joe Flacco. The biggest thing, though, about why I'm not maybe thinking he can recapture what he did 2 years ago and this Browns team can look like the playoff team that they were that year, is the offensive line was not the same. Without Bill Callahan, they took a massive step back last year. The same guys, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, did not look like they were 2 years ago. So that's my biggest thing, is that you're playing either a 40-year-old quarterback or a rookie behind an offensive line that is likely going to be a bottom 10 unit in the NFL. Not a recipe for success.
Put Shador out there, dude. He's used to bad offensive lines. Just ask him.
That, honestly, I mean, if you're a fan of the Browns, you would rather see that, right?
I would. If Shador gets named starter, I am buying the Cleveland Browns package on Paramount Plus. I'm going to get Paramount Plus, and I'm going to watch all of it. It's Shador.
I'm playing perfect timing all week. If he gets named the starter, that's the pregame hype song.